Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, GCN proudly brings to you the podcasting PlayStation champions of the world. The KZ, Chris Gillette. The Sponge Belt, Garth Moore, which I put the camera on you. I think you're supposed to do like some Billy Gunn-like pose. I guess not.
This man.
Anyways, this is GCN's PlayStation-centric podcast, PlayStation and Pizza. This is your ultimate destination for everything PlayStation. I'm your host, Chris Gillette, like I said before, Garth Moore. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. But 1 word for you, subscribe. Big wrestling fans, obviously, as you can see. But anyways, PlayStation, Garth, let's talk the usual. What have you been playing, man? Anything interesting?
4 games at one time. But 3 now, I mean, after I beat one of them.
Okay.
Call of Juarez Bound in Blood I finished this week.
How was that? You got to tell me real quick. How was that game?
If I can have a full pizza, I would eat 8.5 slices before I got full.
8? Okay. I that was good. I like how you did that. That was really good.
Yeah.
8.5 slices. I could eat a pizza.
Yeah.
While playing that game, I would eat 8.5 slices. Here we have a beautiful ranking score of pizzas for games. We don't really give out too many numbers, so very nice. That's good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, and it was really good. The story was enjoyable, and I was never bored of it. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good to hear.
I wanted to finish as fast as I could so I can move on to these other games or put more focus on these other games. So
right,
I got that done as quick as I possibly could. So that was good.
How many hours do you think you spent?
It was 7.
Oh, 7 hours?
So just under 8 hours. Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's bad.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, so and also I did my research on all the Call of Juarez games this week. There was a Call of Juarez all by itself on 360. Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, the one I played, is actually the second game. So the Call of Juarez on 360, there was one just all by itself. It was on PC and 360.
So it's a console exclusive to 360 then?
I guess it was on PS3 because when I did a Google Images, I didn't see a PS3 version come up. I mean, I guess I could have looked actually, a Wikipedia or some other.
Well, you're most likely right.
Website
I'm pretty sure there's only like 3 Call of Juarez games, including that arcade one they had recently.
Then they had the Cartel, and they had Gunslinger. So technically there's 4, but there's 3 like main big ones. But one's horrific, with the Cartel one. But
Cartel, yeah, Jesus. So I didn't know that on 360. I'll have to look at that because I do collect for this. So my collection is over there a little bit. That's good. That's awesome. Anything else?
Oh,
the wonderful Yakuza 5. Okay, Yakuza 5. How many hours you got now?
See what I did was this week I did some sort of strategy, this technique that I've been doing, and it worked out pretty well. It's been working out still. One day I would play Psychonauts, and then I would play Yakuza on one day, and then the very next day I'll play Primal, and then I'll play Call of Juarez on the other day. So I would play 2 games of what I'll pick, and then I'll stick to it, and then until I beat them, I'll stick to that pattern until I beat them.
Right, yeah.
So I do that.
I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I'll explain that in a second.
I have to stay dedicated, and I have to keep it that pattern, otherwise I'll fuck it up. Now, if I miss that day, if I don't feel like playing the game, that I don't do it, then I'll be like, well, I can't go back. I gotta play the game that I just played, like Psychonauts. Then I'll play Primal because I don't
right.
mess the cycle up. But yeah, I've been. That's how I've been doing this whole thing. That way I don't overwhelm myself. It's more of a organized way of doing it. So So anyways, Yakuza 5, I am 35 hours in. I'm reaching the 40-hour mark, and I'm 10% in.
Okay. I wonder how long the story is percentage-wise.
And I'm playing the I got to play as the pop star, I got to do the dancing and singing parts, and that was great. That
Really
was
was
fun.
it? You know, in Japan,
You get to go on you get to go on game shows and like take interviews and handshake with your take handshakes with your friends or with your fans. It's great. It's
that's
awesome.
cool.
Little those little things like that, and then you get to learn the character and everything. There was a like a huge thing that happened. I'm not going to say what it was, but it's like, wow, that was unexpected. And it made me sad in a way. I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy.
Oh wow, that sucks. So you got emotionally attached to some character or something? Something like that happened?
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I was like, yeah, it was pretty amazing actually.
Okay.
This game is so deep. It's
So
still
it's
offering
so deep.
at 35 hours. Go ahead and tell a couple. I'm not done yet, but go ahead because I gotta go do something. Go ahead and say
Man. Okay.
what you're gonna play, and then
Yeah. I went ahead and guys, I've been playing a little bit of Riptide Renegade. For those of you know, it's GP Riptide Renegade. That I actually finished it this week. There's this game I told you guys before. If you were previously listening before, audio or video version, whatever. That the boss battles, it kind of reminds me of an older arcade racer, such as like Hydro Thunder or some other games of that nature, pretty much. Excuse me, it has boss battles, and the boss battles are pretty cool. But there's a few that are frustrating, which makes sense. That's like typical history of boss battles, right? They can be. The last one was a little frustrating because it's like it's a championship race, so you have to face him not only other opponents, but him multiple times, and it's kind of got that shit AI that is programmed to be ridiculously fast, able to catch up easily, whether you're ahead or not, and be a pain in the ass, like bumping you and whatnot. Ridiculous. Well, you get to doing that, and I've had to do the championship twice. I mean, you can restart each race, which is nice. That is pretty good. So if you're ahead of him and he's maybe won a couple, you've won a couple, and it comes down to there's a couple races and you need to at least win one of those, you could always restart that. You don't have to restart the championship, which is nice. But I didn't pay attention to that the first time. I just restarted it and did a second championship. But that being said, ended up getting ahead of him the second time, and it came down to this. Well, I'll tell you real quick. The first race, it was actually 128 points to 128 points. It tied. Didn't give me the win, so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just do it again. It doesn't really take that long, but it is frustrating for a boss battle. Oh, look, there's Garth back, so we can talk about this some more. You muted, man. You muted.
there we go. You want me to finish? Okay, cool. You want me to finish telling you what I've been playing?
Sure, I was
finish.
Yeah, sure. I was talking about the last boss on Riptide, but yeah, sure. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so yeah, so Yakuza 5, 35 hours in, and I'm still doing tons of stuff to do, and still being immersed into the story and as deep as it is, and I want it to end, but I don't. But I also want it to end because I want to move on to 4 or so.
Well, did you hear that they're all apparently getting remastered for PS4?
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah.
So.
Who knows how long that will take? I mean, because sometimes these Yakuza games, they're made, because this Yakuza 5 was made in 2012. We just now got it in 2015, so if that happens, who knows how long it would take to come over to America,
Sure.
But anyways, Psychonauts and Primal also I've been playing 2 PS2 games. I've been playing old games. So if anyone is like gonna be like looking forward to us like playing like new games, like badass games, maybe like No Man's Sky and stuff, this is not the place to go for that. This is not the place to hear.
But not today, anyways.
We're badass. We are badass. We play old games.
Yeah, we play everything PlayStation. It doesn't have to be because I'm playing Primal right now.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, but so Primal, man.
You know what though?
Okay.
I meant to tell you last night. The spot I was
down. Okay.
About the tree. See, there's a tree that's laying down against a wall, and I thought that was the tree. I didn't think it was a tree
Yeah,
behind me.
that's not the tree. It was the tree behind
Right.
you. I actually thought that you meant the tree. I should have been more detail and said the tree in the very beginning of your video. That's the tree you knock over.
Okay, yeah. See, I just went right up to it and pushed X. I could have done that earlier, but there was still a cutscene I missed, so I'm happy I talked to you. Because I still think I could have pushed that over and she could have still walked over there, no matter what. I think I could have possibly missed that cutscene somehow. Some of these older games let you do stuff like that. Nowadays,
this is a great example of lack of sense of direction with these older games. It's just like they put you in this game and you're just like, well, go ahead, figure it out yourself.
Right. Which honestly,
like,
to take the truth, it gives more playtime and it makes you explore your environment a little bit more and take the game in a little bit more than you would these days.
It does give it more playtime, but sometimes it's like, okay, enough's enough. You know, like I've been on this part I've been walking around this part for 15 minutes and nothing has happened. So, you have a good point there, but at the same time, I don't want to be looking around overly too long because then that's just ridiculous. But the combat it's a little stiff, but you know what? It's okay though. It's okay. It's passable. Yeah. It's not bad.
Because what I like about it is it's stiff, but you don't have a hard time staying away from the enemies and dying really. So,
and it's also
it's
weird
hard.
because the controls, the combat buttons are the top buttons. They're not the
R2 and L2.
They're not your typical circle or square, triangle and stuff like that. It's their top buttons.
I mean, you can change them technically if you want to on the PS4, but then that's just gonna feel weird probably. I like to keep the
I feel like
the
natural way to play it like that. I feel like the developers wanted us to play the controls that way, so I'm going to play them that way. Unless if it's inverted, then I'm not going to play.
Now, see, the camera actually was inverted from left to left to right. Up and down was fine, so I had to change the left to right. From the right vertical to a different angle. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, Primal's not too bad. I mean, it's okay. No, I mean, it's got big areas for a older game, which is pretty impressive.
2003, it's not bad.
No. A lot of people praise that game.
It doesn't really sound like back then. I mean, it doesn't really seem like a game that you would get lost in, but you actually do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. There's times.
So I feel like back in the day, the reason why these games were like this is to get sales on strategy guides. Hey, let's make these guys struggle so people can buy our strategy guide.
That's a really good
Do you think that's the case? Because think about it.
Now that you mention it.
Think about it. I mean, like, but it makes you think. Why didn't they continue to go with that route? I mean,
maybe to appeal more to the casual audience. I don't know.
And and they also have the DLC to fall back on. Back then, they didn't have DLC. The little strategy guys. Those were technically DLCs back then. I mean, it wasn't added content, but it was extra money towards that game.
Right.
That you spent on an extra $15.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
So,
maybe that's why they.
Yeah. So I'm just like because I'm sitting playing this game. I'm like, how did these people praise this game and not get lost and figure out everything on their first playthrough and say yeah, this is great. Nothing wrong with the game, but it's just it's really easy to get lost in.
Also, I noticed that,
and it doesn't explain things all clearly sometimes. So you're just and it doesn't always tell you where to go. Like the radar, on the map, it tells you where to go, but you don't actually fully know all the time because if you're not in a range of the map, it doesn't tell you until you arrive there.
Right. Yeah. And I also think that developers these days actually have a little more leeway as development goes on. They have more chances to delay their games. I think 2000 or maybe any time before or in the early 2000s, I honestly think that there was more crush time. you have to get this game done by this point. This is the hardware specifically you're releasing for. I maybe it was a little more strict. I think now it's more of like, okay, development has changed as a whole. It's not, you don't see like, in those older games, you see those big blocky 3D figures of houses and characters. Obviously development has changed, so that could be a thing too.
Yeah.
Also the time I said, development. Now that games get delayed 2, 3, 4 times, back then you really didn't do that.
Because think about it, I think that's the case. It has to be, because think about it. If I made a game that was really easy, what's the point of having people go out and buy a strategy guide?
True. Yeah. So maybe that's why Primal.
So now I think YouTube is kind of defeated the purpose of the whole strategy guide. You don't really need strategy guides anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
look up a walkthrough.
The strategy guides they still exist, but they're nowhere near as
right.
worthful as they were back then. So that I think that's the main reason. Hey,
yeah,
let's make this game really hard, or hardware to go, so people will buy our strategy guide.
Right. So you played Primal. I played Primal. I'm enjoying it, but I mean, it's obviously it's time consuming. Those older games really don't tell you exactly where to go. So also you said you've been playing Psychonauts. I actually have never played that before. I wanted the original Xbox version because it was the better version. But now we got the
PS2 version.
I'm not sure if it's the PS2 version. I don't know what version.
No, it is the PS2 version.
It is?
The PS2 version looks a bit rough.
Yeah, but what about now? How does it look now?
It still looks rough.
Does it? I heard it looks a lot better though.
The textures just some of them look very, very if you look at some of the characters, you're just like, oh man, that looks like something. That looks something like from Bubsby 3D. It looks bad. Just take away from the game. I mean, the game is great, and I still love the game. The game holds up still very, very well. The gameplay is there. The platforming is fun. The controls are fun, or the controls aren't fun. They're easy to get up and play, and it has a nice story. It has great characters. Just the graphics are they don't hold up on PS2 at all. They're very, very flat. They suffer a lot because I've seen so much footage lately on Twitch of the PC version, and the PC version you're like, wow, look, you could actually see textures on stuff that I've never seen before.
Okay.
But here it's just very blurry and muddy looking. It just doesn't really look that good. But other than that, I mean, it's great. I've played the game before.
You just reminded me of. You say you played the game before? Did you finish the game before?
I had it on PS3 because they had it on the. When it first came to PS3, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
But I never finished it on PS3. I got caught up with other things, and now that it has trophies, it'll give me an excuse to finish it.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
but I hope to finish it. The game's actually pretty hard.
Okay.
It's actually one of the more challenging games. It has a lack of direction at times as well. Sometimes it always doesn't explain things entirely well. But it's not as bad as Primal.
Right.
I think it's a lot more pick up and play. But the boss battles and everything, and just this game has some of the best level designs I've ever seen in a video game.
Does it? Okay.
It's
nice.
the level design is so fantastic and so well done. You may not seem like it at first. You're like, oh, this guy's full of shit. He said it was the best level design ever. But once you go into people's minds and see their levels, it's just it looks so amazing. The levels are just second to none.
I'm looking forward to that then, because those are the 2 games we picked up on the PSN store, and I'm just glad they have trophies. Does Psychonauts even have a platinum, or do you know?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, does it? Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's all you've really been playing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Like I was saying before Garth came back, I finished GP Riptide Renegade, and the boss battle at the end of that game is a championship. and it's like you had to fight Krex is his name. Kind of sounds very bossy, like a boss character. Anyways, you go against Krex. Krex, he's tough. They made a typical UI boss that's ridiculously fast, can catch up to you easily, smash into you, kind of frustrating. And then they have this last race where he set up mines before the race, and it's just you two after you finish the championship, that is. And
Jeez.
it's a pain in the fucking ass. Eventually you got it, and I felt rewarding as fuck, too, because when you have a hard boss like that, actually, even though he's how do you say, he's cheesing it, I guess you could say. Once you beat a boss like that, you feel pretty rewarding and fun. So I finished that game. There's side quests and stuff I plan on checking out and getting the trophies. And as you see, I went ahead and just said fuck it because I had time. I went ahead and just platinum Rocket League. So there was like two or three trophies I had to get, and there's very, very easy. But it just sucks going through the season mode. It just feels so lame. Like just sit there, 10 games.
Oh yeah.
I hate that. Like, I wish it was a little bit more of a challenge. I mean, I could have made it a challenge for myself, but I just felt like I was like, okay, well, 3 trophies. No,
but the thing is, if you would have made it a challenge for yourself, then you may have not have got the 10 wins in a row. So you have to make it easy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But now it makes me actually want to try, put it on the hardest difficulty, and make it through a season on there. Because I've gotten so good at Rocket League now, I feel like I can do it. But then again, that AI is very fucking cheap. It's like we're talking about. With AI,
and you got to rely on the friendly AI for you.
Yeah, and then they like to ram into you when you're trying to set up a center or pass the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I might do that. And I've been playing a lot more Primal. I think that's the game I'm going to stick to at the moment because I just beat Resogun this week too. Last week now. No, last week I meant to say. Yeah, so I beat that game. And happy I got that out of the way. So I got the Platinum for Rocket League finally out of the way. Then I just got GP Riptide Renegade out of the way, which is actually the most recent game that I bought before Primal and Psychonauts. Glad I got Resogun out of the way because I went ahead and downloaded a few other games, and I plan on focusing on Most Wanted on Vita. So that's my game I'm going to be focused on at work now. Okay. And that game is just a blast if you play Need for Speed Most Wanted. And on Vita, it's like one of the best running games and looking games. So it's eye candy when it comes to a handheld. Yeah. Trying to think if I think I might have played something else. And last week I was like, you know what? I forgot to mention that I played something else.
Try to start on Psychonauts sometime this week.
Nah, I want to wait till I finish one game, a Primal, because I downloaded Mad Max. That's what I was going to tell you. I re-downloaded Mad Max so I can finish it. Because I left off near the end of the game. Because something came up, I guess. So I just, was like, you know what? I'm going to download that and finish it. And that and Primal, I think I'm going to balance out right now. And then these newer games are coming. So beginning of next month and the end of this month, I think I'm going to focus a little more on...
Top 10 PS4 games of all time. Mad Max.
Mad Max? Yeah,
it's in my top
I would
10.
have to say it's...
I
would have to put it there too, and I hadn't beat the game. I like the game a lot. Very underrated. If you haven't played it, I would recommend it.
I liked it more than Fallout.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I also tried firing up my fat PS2. It's making this grinding noise now, but it reads a disc. For some reason, it will not launch the disc, but there is a fix for it. I found it, but I have a Slim, but I'm missing the... You can't see it maybe behind me. It's stuffed right in between the PS1 games and PC games, right? The little black thing.
Yeah,
but anyways,
I can't really see it.
It's like brand new almost, but I did lose the AC cord to it, so I have to buy one of those for like $4. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, and then fix the fat on the side because I love the fat. I love the fat PS2s because I was gonna play some SmackDown.
The OG systems are always because they look the best. They may not play the best sometimes, but
there's trouble with
it's just the original feel. It's just the original look.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I was gonna play some SmackDown versus Raw, and gonna try to get into Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein Operation Resurrection. So I was gonna try to play that. So I'm gonna try to play those two, and had trouble with the PS2. So
I've actually been playing a PS2 game myself, and it isn't Psychonauts and Primal.
What is that?
I got the original Red Faction game.
Oh, that's
this
right. That's
past
right.
weekend
The original Red
on the
Faction.
flash sale. On the flash
How's that
sale.
hold up?
Whew. You know what? It kind of looks a little bit more like GoldenEye a little bit. You know,
Okay.
uh, like a more souped up, bit better looking version of GoldenEye. I was playing the multiplayer with bots.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that's so fun.
The only
So
thing
fun.
is, there's not any game modes. You know, like there's no capture the flag, there's no team
No,
deathmatch, there's no,
it's
you know,
basic, man.
just basic. But I at least would have liked to have seen. I'm surprised there wasn't actually, because there was a lot of multiplayer games out at that time,
Oh, there it was. Yeah.
and they had a
Um,
bunch of game modes like team deathmatch and capture the flag. There wasn't
yeah.
any of that. But
You
other
know
than
that.
that, it was pretty fun.
Sorry.
The campaign is I've only played like 10 minutes of it, but you know it
Original
was pretty
campaign is
fun.
nice, and I liked Red Faction 2's campaign a little bit more. But now that THQ Nordic brought back THQ because they bought the name, and they own Red Faction, maybe we'll see the PS2 games on PS4. That would be nice with
Yeah, I know.
trophies and hopefully
That'd be
platinums.
nice.
And since we have share play, it'd be cool if we could play multiplayer together. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be
That would be cool. All right, Garth. I think that's what we've been playing. We took a while on that. What do you say we jump into the topic of the week? And that is Garth's turn this week. So, Garth, what do you have, man? I'm excited to hear what you got for this week.
When you think of the PS3, what's the first thing that comes? Like, how would you remember the PS3?
How would I remember the PS3? Great
Yeah.
multiplayer moments with friends and party chats, and really getting involved with other players. A real social experience compared to generations before the PS3. That's what comes to mind instantly.
Yeah, that too. You know what comes to my mind? The best exclusives of that console generation.
I have to say that it has the best
that has
exclusives of all time. I think that console has
of
the
all
best
time.
exclusives. I really
It's
do.
debatable, but it's possibly. I am highly convinced. I was about to get to that it could be. It could have. It may not probably be the best PlayStation console. It may not be the fan favorite PlayStation console. But I am highly convinced that it has the best games on it of any PlayStation console.
Oh, I
Because
completely agree.
the games that you play on that hold up and they play well. Like PS2 games, that's Primal, that's an exclusive. It holds up, but there's some downsides to it because you don't know where always to go. But some
Right.
PS3 games, they're gonna hold up 10 years from now, and they're still gonna look good. So you know, I think that PS3 is probably the best PlayStation console ever.
I do agree. This is a PlayStation podcast, and all bias aside, I mean I like other consoles too. I'm a big fan of gaming in general. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, but this is a PlayStation podcast, so I completely 100% agree with you. And not only does it have this ambitious library and exclusives, but
Yeah.
they all, I'm going to say, well, the exclusives, they all run extremely well. You don't have to, it's not like third party games where they had these hiccups and stuff like that. They all run well. And they
That's the
really
only
take the
downside
power
to
of the
that.
console.
That's the only downside to the PS3 is when some of the third party games. Yeah, you may get a couple of bad designed PS3 games that were exclusives like Haze, but I mean,
Right.
but it for the most part, it was actually consistent. Run. I mean, they had so many games that came out. It was here, left and right. I mean, there were so many, and the graphics were nice. Uh, and they too bad they didn't come out with trophies right away. Now it's sad. It's criminal that the PS3 is highly as underrated as it is. Did you know that I was looking at polls. PS3 is the lowest liked. PS3 is the PlayStation console, and I think that's wrong. I think that people just because the PS3 had such a bad start, it lost a lot of love and it lost appreciation. Not a lot of
Right.
people
And
really
you could
probably
take
know
even,
about these badass games. And Yakuza 5, this automatically just launched straight up in my top 5 PlayStation games of all time. Like the
right.
game is so good that I haven't even finished it yet, but the game is so good that I have to put it in the top franchises of all time. Like
Right.
it's that good, and there's a lot of good franchises that are on PS3 too. Not just because when people think of PlayStation, they think of Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter, but they don't think of the awesome PS3 IPs that it also had that they don't mention either. So I think that it's criminal that some people just don't give PS3 a chance. I
Right.
think
I mean,
it's a
at
shame.
the end of the day, it's whatever your opinion is. But I mean, honestly, it's like the same thing with let's put like the Xbox One, for instance. This generation is the console that is going to get a lot of hate and has gotten a lot of hate for certain reasons, less like the PS3 did. And now this console generation for the Xbox One is going to be the most disliked console of Xbox history, and it will always be that way. And here's the reason the PS3
And
has
it was
the hate.
and it was the OG Xbox, but
Right.
that's my favorite Xbox.
Mine too.
So
Now maybe we just have a history of liking something that's hated, but the reason the PS3 will always have this hate is because, for one, the hardware that eventually got taken advantage of, the structure of the console. Two, the price point they launched it at, which people really never forgave them for it, and a lot of people still haven't. And that started it out slow, and people disliked it right from the get-go and jumped to the 360 because of that. So, I mean, that being said, that's going to be stuck in people's minds forever. Now, the Xbox One had that DMR stuff at the very beginning, and that's still stuck in people's heads. And that's going to give them a lot of shit until this console generation is even over and beyond. So, I mean, that's probably why it's the most hated, is those simple things. But now when people also look at the fact that the console exclusives, and they really go and dig deep, maybe go to Wikipedia and look at the list that they have of exclusives, it's mind-blowing. And the games that you can also get over from Japan, and the console is not region locked, so you're welcome to play them as you like. The PSN games, the PSN exclusives, we even have PSN exclusives over there, and there's great games that are on PSN alone. And physical-based games, we have so many in the library of Sony's PlayStation 3, and they all take advantage of the hardware. They run smoothly. They're developed from the ground up for that hardware, and they fucking look beautiful. I think they look better than any other exclusive game on the Xbox 360 that generation.
When you play a PS1 game, like the most of the PS1 games that they play, and no offense to PS1 games because I love PS1 games and I love the PS1 in general, but that are on PS1 now, the only ones that really hold up well is the Final Fantasy games, unlike those RPG style games that have play like Final Fantasy. Those are the only ones that really hold up. Some of the racing games hold up as well.
Right.
But the sports games don't hold up well.
Yeah, they don't. I have to interrupt you for just 1 second because that's what I played. You just said PS1. I downloaded Siphon Filter on my Vita, and that game, I got really far in the game so far. I was playing it right after I beat Resogun. And that game, I was telling you how you can switch the controls to your liking in that game. And I have it set up like a third-person shooter. And circles to roll like Uncharted, and you can squat with take cover if you hold it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I switched the controls, and it has an auto-aim feature, which makes the game a little bit easier because that game is tough. But it holds up. Yeah. The controls are almost identical to where I liked them in the first place, to switch a few things around. And the animations and everything. That game holds up very well for its time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, you're going to have your small niche niche of games that hold up on PS1.
Right.
PS2, you're going to have which is very similar to PS1, the RPGs, the racing games, some of the action games, first-person shooters maybe still hold up. Yeah. But no genre is more consistent and hold up the most than PS3 games because they're just so simplistic and you can just get into them right away. And they're great. They're not only just easy, great pick up and play, but they're also great games.
Yeah, usually almost every exclusive is great. Like you mentioned a few like Haze and stuff like that, but there's a few that aren't that good. But most of them are.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be a console that doesn't have great games, or they have a game that came up just short, failed to meet the expectations.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, PS2 is probably still the overall better console. I mean, because it has so many games,
True. It has so much.
but 3 is probably has the better games.
Yeah, I
And,
think it does
and
have the better library.
I haven't even mentioned all the great, multiplayer memories and all the great White Room experiences that I had in
Lightroom,
PS3.
if you don't know, the chat.
Those weren't even like, oh, I'm just mentioning the games.
Yeah, that's like I was saying. You asked me like what comes to mind when you talk about the PS3, and I mentioned that social experience. Now, it was a console that lacked in some features in the social experience because
Oh yeah, it
you know
did.
they didn't have cross
But
game chat and stuff like that. But
yeah,
we did make it
it
work.
didn't. It didn't. But you know what? Those games that we mentioned. I mean, we have, we only mentioned a few games. I can only think of so much at this moment. But
Right, right.
those so many games that we did get, kept us busy and kept me from complaining. I mean, there were so many of them that it's just like. Now today, I would be if I went from PS4 to PS3, I would be complaining because I was like, oh, this is kind of ridiculous. I
Right,
want to be
right.
able to chat, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we
because
would
I
get
never
caught up in
experienced it
hours,
before, so
man.
I didn't
We
really.
get caught up in hours of chats, and then
Honestly, that
that stopped me from playing
kind of
some.
actually hurt me from playing some completing some games as fat
Yes, same
as
here.
slower. So I'm just like, I really want to beat this game or this game, but I kind of want to chat as well. So luckily
Exactly.
we have the option to do both today.
Yes, exactly. Luckily, we do. I mean, we did have that on 360 as well, but as being a PlayStation owner and enjoying playing PlayStation more, we did make things work. Also, we would play games like Uno, for instance, if we just wanted to have a good time with our friends and have people in there we can chat with that had good chat, because there were some games that had utter shit chat. And the mic
Oh yeah,
sounded
awful.
terrible. So Uno, we would go on there to have fun and play at the same time. We would find out ways to make things work. But yeah, Garth,
Oh
good
yeah,
topic, man. If you guys want to, you can go over
yeah.
to our Facebook page, facebook.com/group/GamerCade. Join that if you haven't already. And if you have, let us know when we mention
And the
the PlayStation
question
3.
of the and the question of
Yes.
the show: what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of PS3?
Okay, yeah,
Just
perfect.
your
Same. You
honest
can do that on our
opinion, your
Facebook
honest
page
answer.
or down below. You can go and check that, or you can go and comment in the box. Let us know. And yeah, while you're there in the description, you guys can go check out the other links to all of our other sites and stuff like that. So yeah, Garth, good topic. Um, Once again, usually we don't know what we're gonna say. We always keep it a surprise to each other, so we can kind of get that surprise off our chest and be like, oh shit, like okay, good topic. I think it makes it
Yeah,
easier, so I don't have to sit there and think about what you're bringing all week, and I would be completely tongue tied, like so many things I want to say.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, Garth, what do you say we get into some PlayStation video game news? News. What do you say? What do we do? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, first things first. Well, actually, I've got about 12 items of news this week, so it's a handful this week. A lot of stuff went down. Confirmed, Sony has rolled out a two-step verification in all regions. Actually, this article has been updated since last time. Since this went live, we have been able to confirm that the two-step verification is indeed live 100%. We provided screenshots below to show the entire process of adding verification to your PlayStation Network account. And to give a shout out so you guys can check out the screenshots, it's our outerhaven.net. So if you want to go over there and check out the screenshots or go on your PlayStation yourself, you can do so and see if it's there. I'll have to check it out myself. I have not. It says it's no secret that Sony, or more specifically PlayStation Network users, have been very prone to account compromises, like myself recently. So that being said, over the past few years, even now, it's frequently to see threads or posts pop up claiming that someone's account was compromised, all which involved money being used on games or items. That's the sad part about this is if you try to cancel those charges or charge back, Sony tends to ban the account for one reason or another. This wouldn't be as much of an issue if Sony would step up its security, which they're doing still with this two-step verification, which you guys already have history with already. Like if you have a Google or Gmail account or YouTube or anything like that, they do the same thing with two-step verification. I honestly think it's a better way of doing things. So I'm glad to see that they're making this a must. I'd like to see Sony step up their security in every way. What do you think, Garth?
I think Master Chief is agreeing.
Oh,
with
Master
you right
Chief,
now.
what are you doing on this podcast? If you're watching the video version, Garth, that was Master Chief. Master Chief, get out of here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Get out of here.
I actually found him today. I was like, I was in my drawer and I was like, oh look, I found him.
Should have put him back.
But yeah, I think no, I think that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely good for security. All right, second thing is Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot's first PS4 appearance looks awesome. Push Square goes and say, we all collectively rolled our eyes when Crash Bandicoot was confirmed for Skylanders Imaginators. After all, we we know how Activision treated the fellow PlayStation favorite Spyro when this series started. But it looks like it's learned its lesson this time around. The Thumpin' Wumpin' Island level that will appear as a timed exclusive for the PlayStation 4 apparently looks amazing, people are saying. So this game, the Thumpin' Wumpa Island level, which sounds ridiculous, is a throwback to the old school Crash levels when you first start the game. You have those little jumps, the ball rolling after you, the island, and he has that goofy look. It's obviously Skylanders, but these exclusive levels, I mean, it's no remaster. But anyways, it looks good, and that's good to hear because this could mean great things coming up in the near future for Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I mean, it looks all right. It's not important to me though until that actual remastered of the original games happen. Then I'll be like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Because I don't really care.
But it is good signs though, we mentioned Activision, I don't know, I can't countless times about their pricing on games. They're non-remastered titles that they just upload to PSN, copy, paste, save as. So it's good to see this. I mean, who knows? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Then this is good signs though. But I don't blame you, Garth. Yeah, we'll have to actually see what happens when these remasters come about. And I don't even know who's
because I want to see it. Is it actually just going to be a upscale with like HD graphics, or is it actually going to be a complete overhaul? That's what I would like to know.
Right, exactly. All right, next little bit of news.
Either one, I don't care. It's just
I don't either.
As long as I get to play it with trophies.
Exactly. Yeah, even if it had trophies and it was just upscale a little bit and a little slightly better overall experience, that'd be good. All right, PlayStation Plus membership is going up in price. Wow. Anyways, PlayStation Plus subscription will be going up in price starting on September 22nd, 2016. Anyone who signs up for PlayStation Plus subscription on or after September 22nd will need to pay $59.99 US dollars or $69.99 in Canadian cash, whatever you want to call it. $69.99 is a hell of a price for Canada. Holy shit, $70 for PlayStation Plus. That's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
For a 4-year subscription, those will be the prices. This has gone up in price from the original $49.99 US dollars and $59.99 in Canada. That the membership currently resides at. The monthly subscription will stay at $9.99 in the United States. Actually, that's good for monthly. $9.99, I like that because if you want to go and buy a monthly subscription, and you're short on cash, and you're like, you know what, $9.99 isn't too bad. I'm happy that's staying that. But in Canada, it will go up to $11.99. Sadly, that sucks. Sony has announced that there will be no disruption to the services they currently offer with the PlayStation Plus membership, Sony states in their blog post. Quote, the new pricing reflects the current market conditions while enabling us to continue to provide exceptional value to our membership. As a member, you will continue to enjoy the benefits, features that enabled shared experiences such as online multiplayer, free games, and exclusive discounts. As an online player, you will also continue to get exclusive benefits such as online game save, storage, discounts across the PlayStation Digital Service. This is the first time we have seen Sony increase the price of PlayStation Plus since the program launched in 2010. Since then, the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita gamers have received hundreds of dollars in free games. The PlayStation Plus program launched in June 2010 with the PlayStation 3. Garth, your thoughts on the prices raising up? Do you think we're going to get more quality? Do you think we're going to get better games? Is this a sign of a better future? Or is this just something that we have to kind of deal with because Sony chooses to do so? Are they being arrogant?
We have to deal with both. Well, one, we have to deal with it, and I feel like if they're going to do this, there has to be at least some better quality games. Because last month's games, or this month's games, other than Yakuza 5, I didn't care about any of them. So hopefully that they actually start giving us a little bit better games. Not, amazing games, but better games.
Right. Yeah, definitely better games. I mean, maybe we can get a little more quality title. I mean, I'm not saying these indie games are not quality titles, because we've talked about this on the show before, like indie games being a better AAA experience than some AAA
Indie games
already.
Indie games can be hit or miss, I mean, not all
Very
of them
true.
are great.
Very true.
So an indie game that's like really quality, and then sometimes you'll get an indie game that's very cheap, and you're like, well, this indie game for a reason, but why am I playing this exactly? It's it's a little clunky and just doesn't really work.
Right. Or I mean, not
So-
all
so I-
indie games are right up everybody's alley either. Sometimes the way they look, the way they
No.
feel.
I do feel like some
Genre.
some people should check them out, enjoy them, because there are some very good indie games.
For sure.
So, yeah, but hopefully, it'll give us better stuff.
Right. Or do you think this is just thoughts? This is not 100% right off the top of my head. But do you just think this is maybe Sony being arrogant this generation? Hey, we're doing great in sales. A lot of people are buying PlayStation Plus. What do you say we up the price?
They've been arrogant for many years. I mean, that's why. Well, what do you think the PS3 got off to such a horrible start at $5.99?
The pricing and everything. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So they've always had that attitude. But I mean, I guess they have a right to. But they just need to just calm the fuck down and just stay to their
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't brag. Don't be douchebags.
Right. Well, that they recently came out and said that their gaming division is the biggest portion, the biggest best-selling, money-making division of their company. So I think they're looking at that and they're saying, you know what?
Right.
How can we make a little bit more money besides eventually bringing out the Neo and the PlayStation VR?
If Sony was not in gaming, they would be out of business. They would not be around.
Oh yeah, they would not.
So gaming, their gaming has saved them.
Yes. Us gamers have saved them just by buying their console.
Because no one buys their hardware. Nobody buys like their Sony TVs, even though they're amazing TVs. But they're expensive TVs.
Yeah, they're too expensive.
That's the problem.
Sony's
they're
arrogant.
Expensive.
Right then and there. They're arrogant with their products. It's because they're quality, yes.
Yeah.
But come on now. Like, you got to learn your lesson eventually. But anyways, PlayStation Plus subscriptions will be going up. This is actually matching Microsoft's price with theirs, with Xbox Live. So let's say if you're really, really worried about this, then you got to remember that this is exact prices. And if you're getting 3 months now, it's like $24.99 now. So it's like $25. It's the same exact as Microsoft. You're going to get 3 months paying the same price. You're going to get a year. It's going to be the same price, $60. But there's deals everywhere now. So you can go online. You're going to find this stuff cheap. You're going to find it cheaper, $35 for a year. There's always going to be deals now. So don't be afraid to go online and check. Make sure you just don't get scammed. But anyways, to me, it's not really a big deal. Sony's just trying to look for that extra cash. And I mean, what am I going to say, Garth? Am I going to say I'm not going to ever pay for it again because I don't want to play multiplayer? Because I'll be lying to you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and the thing is, it's not that big of a leap. I mean, yeah, it is, but I mean, but yes, but no, it isn't. I mean,
right.
For if you're understand if it was like $15-20, like, oh, okay, that's a huge leap. But it's only $10, and even for the $7 leap. So you're instead of paying for $17 or $18, however it is, you're going to pay $25. So it's not that big of a leap.
In a couple weeks to a month, we won't hear anything about this ever again. It'll be gone. People will forget.
No, it'll be gone. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. First things first with this next one is the new DualShock 4 code. For this, the code I should say for this product is CUH -ZC, or should I say hyphen ZCT2U. Some people care about that. They like to look up those things. So if you want it, there you have it. But it's basically the same DualShock. Pictures and details of the new DualShock 4 expected to come with the Neo. Now, this is another thing that got leaked, which we're going to get into with the PS4 Slim and stuff like that. But this is something that got leaked. The only difference I see so far is the PS button is like a grayish, whitish. It's a white with a background of gray. It's not black anymore with a white PlayStation symbol. And the thumbsticks are gray now. And some
the
of the
thumbsticks are gray, like the
right.
old PlayStation 1 and 2.
Exactly. And R1 and L1 and L2, L1 and R2 are gray as well. So it seems like they're trying to go back to some of the old school colors, like they did with the 20th anniversary DualShock, which I have.
The analog sticks look a little bit more bigger too, and more stable.
It looks. It kind of has that look to it, like has broader shoulder look. But I'm really thinking they upped the battery life. They could have changed the size of the light bar.
Yeah.
I think we'll see changes.
Well, actually, did you see the video of the controller? There's actually a light
there's
bar
a video.
there's a light bar on the touchpad now.
Really? Or is it a light
Yes.
underneath it?
There's a light bar behind it. You have your basic standard, light bar. The standard light bar that we have now has not changed. It's the same.
Okay.
Unless maybe it's, I got to
we have to look at it directly.
Tell if it's smaller or bigger. But the actual other video, the other light is actually right on top of the touchpad, and it lights up. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty sleek.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. So there's more. So there's another light on our controller. So there's two lights. Well,
when you get a chance, post on the Facebook group so we can check that out. Facebook.com/group/GamerCade. If you guys want to go check that out. Also, the biggest news of the week for PlayStation and all of us, we didn't expect this, just kind of happened. Garth, you were the first one to break the news over on our Facebook page and stuff like that, and GCN in general. PS4 Slim.
I'm a beast, that's why.
Yeah, it got leaked. PS4 Slim is possibly to release worldwide on September 14th. This Gen Gaming said that has received exclusive confirmation by the person selling the PS4 Slim that it will be available to purchase for everybody on September 14th, which is slightly after the event, which is held on September 7th, which you talked about last episode, which you guys can go check out on iTunes and all that. Subscribe while you're there. But anyways, you guys, we said September 7th is the event. The PlayStation meeting is what they are calling it now. And I think we'll see an announcement alongside the PS4 Slim and all that. Garth, let's talk about thoughts on the PS4 now real quick. It is much smaller than I expected it to be. I honestly think it was just going to be a little bit smaller. It does look like
it looks cheaper, obviously.
Very, very ridiculously cheap. Now, I think they're shooting, a lot of people are saying $250. But honestly, I'm thinking, you think it's $250, $249? They went, you can tell that they went beyond cheap for this. And I'm not saying that Sony's being arrogant once again, but I honestly think they're trying to go so cheap that they want to sell even more of these. And I mean, it looks.
That's honestly, that's concerning to me. Like, if you're going to make your console so cheap.
No, I'm just talking about
not
the inners, but the outer.
Like for the long run, like how much, like, there's going to be a downside to this, like what's going to be sacrificed, obviously there's no cool light,
right?
Which I loved.
Well, because you got the premium experience. Sony doesn't want you to feel like, if they made a Slim now, they wouldn't want you to feel like, just like the last generation of the PS3, the Fats, the shiny color, multiple USB, SD card slots, all that. Now, I don't think you have to worry. I think that they're just the outer console. I think that they try to make so cheap that it's just, the back looks so simplistic. And I really want to know, since this thing it's really thin, to be honest. It's so much more thin than the PS4. If you haven't seen it, you guys can go check it out. Just Google PS4 Slim. I'm wondering how they're going to keep this thing ridiculously cool. Like, I know the PS4, the launch day PS4s were really loud. Apparently they've been fixed since then. Oh
yeah, they were.
So I'm wondering how
they have been. They've actually came out with some nice other models of PS4s,
right,
that are more quieter.
So I'm wondering if this one is going to be. I really want to know if this thing is stealth quiet, just like the stealth black it has. Do you like the round edges it has, or do you prefer the pointy, kind of sharp look?
I like the pointy edges.
Yeah. This is I honestly think that them
gives
going
it more
this
of a
cheap,
futuristic design.
right? It does. It looks sleek to me, but it looks like it's going to be something that you can fit in just about anywhere, which is actually going to make people really happy. Because a lot of people were comparing it to like Apple TVs and stuff like that. Now it isn't exactly the size, but it is going to be something that you can just slide in there. It's smaller than the PS3 Slim, and that thing looks huge compared to the.
I don't like how far apart the USB ports are. I don't get why there's one way over here and one way over there. It looks stupid, honestly. I wish they were like.
Do you think they did that for charging reasons? Like, do you think they like if two people have controllers plugged in? Do you think they made it farther apart like older consoles, like back in the day, or do you think that maybe? I don't know. Maybe they're thinking. Maybe they got complaints that I don't know about.
It just looks weird.
It does. It looks off. But then again, they had so much space to work with. Maybe they just felt like it looked empty and they just had to throw. They also changed the hard drive slot. It's now on the left side of the console on the bottom. So you don't have the panel.
So you can change your hard drive with this.
Yeah. Sony's never getting rid of that idea. So it's 500 gig, which a lot of people aren't worried about because you can swap your hard drive in and out, and they're not too expensive to go and find.
I think the blue and green buttons are back on the power buttons, I believe.
Oh, are they? I'll have to look at that. I mean, I've seen videos.
I looked at the star. I looked at it actually come on. There's a video that it gets turned on.
Okay,
and
I've seen videos.
Looks like the blue and green. It looks like the blue and green lights are back. I could be wrong.
Okay, cool. Because on the PS4,
the blue and green lights are good. The blue and green lights are the classic lights that I like.
Garth, I meant to ask you. You have the pressure sensitive buttons, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Which I don't like.
Have the premium PS4.
Yeah. The original, the OG PS4s.
Which I'm very happy I have, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think anything will top this PlayStation design. It's the greatest. It's the sweetest looking design ever.
Sexiest looking console. Awesome. Yeah, and the Slim.
You go to and then you show the Slim. It's just like, oh, they ruined it. Like, it's just, like it,
well,
it
how much
so
more
nice.
sexier can you get? Like, you know what I mean? You can't get as sexier.
It's like going from I don't know what women do you like in Hollywood?
All right, here's a better reference, so we're not womanizing or anything. Let's say like you get the sweet ass Lamborghini, right? And let's say it's a certain year. Let's say you get a 2005 Lamborghini, and that year looks so good. And then the next year comes out,
and then you get a Honda Civic, and you're like,
right, or
oh,
that.
Man.
Oh, I was gonna say the next year comes out, the newer Lamborghini model comes out, and it doesn't look as sweet. You're like, what the fuck did they even do to the design? It does not look as good.
Yeah.
So that could be it, because. I mean, like the Ford Tauruses, for instance, they have one Taurus that looks like a fucking fish, like spaceship looking thing. I think it came out like 2003, and now the newer ones look really good. So it's kind of compared to that. Like you're just kind of like, okay, what the fuck were they thinking around that time?
The design has grown on me a
little bit, yeah.
But it's
with the
not
Xbox
my.
One S,
It's not.
kind of grown
But it's
on me
not
as well.
my.
I didn't like it at first.
But it's not my. No, you know what? I actually like the One S. I think it looks nice.
Really, I didn't. I hated it at first. I was like, "This is ugly." But
really, I feel like it's the same. I feel like it looks exactly the same. Just
me having an Xbox One, I think that the original Fat, I think it's a sexy bitch. I mean, it's a sexy big girl, but I like the original Xbox. I'd rather not have the S. I think the older ones are better. Let's talk about some differences here. You guys may be thinking, okay, well, the Xbox One S has 4K and it has HDR, which is for the lighting on certain TVs and stuff, 4K TVs. 4K for 4K video, not gaming, just to let you guys know until the Scorpio comes out for the Xbox. PS4 Slim breaking down what differences from the original model. No UHD or 4K playback like the Xbox One S. You can see in some of the packaging shots, the system does not mention 4K anything. The side of the console simply like Blu-ray as the system's format. No mention of the UHD Blu-ray. There is no mention of HDMI 2.0 cable on the console's box either. It means it will not play the 4K content, most likely. This differs from the Microsoft Xbox One S, which is the cheapest way to get 4K UHD Blu-ray content, currently at $299. I'm thinking the reason they didn't put this, which we talked about before, is to make the console even cheaper. They're wanting it to get in everybody's hands. It's like,
and they also want to sell the Neo. Why would you put
4K
in a Slim when you got the Neo coming out.
Right.
You know?
And this article goes to say that perhaps Sony plans on the even cheaper 300 price, but we're saying 250, which is ridiculously cheaper. With this model, they likely want to avoid confusion with the release of 4K equipped PS4 Neo, not to have two models that do 4K video, but not necessarily 4K enhancement games. So many people are going to want the Neo now when they see what it can do. I think this is a really, really smart move by Sony. Really smart move by not putting 4K in the older consoles, because now when Neo comes out, not only better graphics and everything of that sort, the games look better, it runs better, but now it's gonna have 4K.
It is smart, but you know what? Why bring out a Slim? I mean, your Neo comes out probably next year, so like why? It's just I think it's stupid. Like,
well,
and
no,
plus,
you got to learn that for them to make it even cheaper, they can't do the PS4 that way, because the way it's manufactured and how big things are and how the material it's made out of is costs them more. It costs more. They have to make more off of it, so that's why the price it is. For them to make a Slim, the chip is smaller on the inside. Everything else is smaller. The insides, the outsides are cheaper. It's lighter. It's slightly thinner. It's more energy efficient. That's why they come out with it, so they can, for the budget people out there that don't have a PS4 yet, this is perfect for them. 250 is going to be a killer price, and I really think that's what they're going to release it as. I could be wrong.
I understand like that, all that, but I just think that like the smart enough people,
right?
They're just gonna wait and get a Neo, you know. So right. I think that them a little bit, but not entirely. And you know, I'm gonna miss the original look of the Neo now. Maybe the Neo has the look that we have here in ours, but I don't think that they'll do that. I think they'll give it like a even maybe even a maybe cheaper design, so they can get that 4K stuff out there and make it as affordable as possible.
I think they're going to go out with the Neo. I think it's going to be ridiculous looking, in a good way. Maybe we'll get a few more lights on it. I don't know. Honestly, you know, so this has the same 500 gig hard drive. Physical power and eject buttons are LED lights, like you were talking about. They said the PS3 Slim model has those. Like you're saying, the blue and green style has no optical out. One big change is the output audio. It's HDMI only. You won't see me buying this for one reason. The PS4 has the optical out. I like surround sound. So this doesn't have a surround sound port either. Bullshit. Like, come on now. Like,
that's pretty shit.
You can tell they went.
You're fucking people over.
You know what? No, well, I mean, if you're a gamer that wants that, yes. But imagine then they're making this 250. You know how much that and VR are together? It's not going to be that much. This thing, the VR will sell like hotcakes with this thing, especially if they have some sort of bundles. I honestly think that's what they're reaching for, is to get VR in more people's homes with this model. But that does that does suck for gamers like me, because I cannot game without surround sound now, really. So that's me.
Luckily, I have a headset, kind of small, so it doesn't.
Yeah, the headset's too. Well, that's true. That is a good point, because the connection to the controller, you're getting surround. It depends on the headphones you buy. So anyways, slightly slimmer, same hard drive. The hard drive is changed on the side. It's slightly smaller. Physical power eject buttons are kind of like the PS3 Slim, with the green and red. No optical out, which is a bummer. No 4K. The hard drive got moved, like I said, to the left side, so it's still there. You can swap it out. Don't have to worry about the 500 gig if you don't want to. Something I'm not going to switch to, Garth. What about you?
No. What's the point?
What is the
point? There's no point.
Exactly. But anyways,
PS4 you know, Slim, if people don't have a PS4, and if people don't have a PS4 and they want to spend $250 on it, or supposedly $250, we don't know yet.
Right.
Or then go for it then. Yeah,
go for it. Honestly, for the budget gamer, I think it's great price. You know, at $250, let's take that with a grain of salt. That's our predictions. Even at $300 won't be bad. That's $50 more. I'm sure they're gonna have tons of bundles now with like 2-3 games or something, and PlayStation Plus. So we'll probably start seeing those a little bit more. Maybe priced at $300, somewhere around there, if it is at $250. All right. Also, the specs on the Neo. You know, a lot of people say that they're not going to be obviously as powered. And Digital Foundry came out and said that Now, the hardware that is supposedly in the Neo can get overclocked to about 5 teraflops, which is crazy. That's good. 5 teraflops to Microsoft 6 teraflops with the Scorpio. So Sony still has a chance here at being almost as powerful.
The whole sometimes when it comes to the
think about
hardware
it.
and stuff.
Here,
I don't
think
understand about
horsepower,
teraflops. I don't understand
horsepower. Think in a car, like how fast it can go.
Okay.
And do.
Yeah, okay.
That's what teraflops
Okay.
mainly. That's the easiest way I can break it down for you. So 5 teraflops to 6. That's a huge leap if they can overclock this, which they can do apparently with the hardware that they have in there. So we'll have to see what happens. September 7th is coming up very close. So the PlayStation meeting, tune in for that. I'm sure we will have possibly a live.
The Slim will be out.
Something like
the
that.
Slim will be out this holiday season. Expect though. They bank on
Slim.
that.
And honestly, I don't see why. I don't see them missing out on holiday sales either with the Neo. I think we'll have 3 PlayStation products out, which won't be confusing because I think Sony will do a good job. They're already kind of doing a good job with not putting 4K in the Slim console and all that. So they're separating the Neo fan base already.
Wouldn't that be?
It's leaked.
Wouldn't that be fucked up though? Like, I'm getting a Slim. It's the Neo. Yeah. If they go home and take it home. And then they're like, oh, this doesn't do 4K. This isn't Neo.
Right.
And then they end up being disappointed.
Yeah. That would suck.
That's what's going to be that's the confusing part about this.
I think
confusing to us
we don't
because
know yet.
we understand,
right.
but some of the casual market confused by this. They're going to be like, oh, this is the new powerful version. Oh yeah, but then they're like, oh no, it's not. Confusing part to the casual market.
I honestly think that they will make the branding enough. I think the PS4 Neo, codenamed right now, I honestly think the box will be, and the name will be PS4K. Because 4K is obviously taken over.
Called Neo.
Yeah. What do you think it's PS4 4K, or do you think it's going to be PlayStation 4.5, or you don't think it's going to be Neo?
No, it's not going to be called Neo. It's going to be 4K.
You think it's going to be 4K? Okay, so we got the same. Do you think they're going to have the yellowish 4K on the console, or do you think they're just going to have a K on there?
I think it'll just be. It won't be gold. It'll be the same font as the PS4, and it just has the K on it.
Okay, and I think that they'll have a huge branding on the box that's going to be totally different from the regular PS4s to let you know that it's 4K gaming. And the best way they can get that out there is, like we said, our prediction, PS4 4K. I honestly think that I'm getting more excited.
I don't think it'll be same lettering.
I
don't think it'll be the same. I don't think it'll be different lettering. I think it'll be
different. I mean, a bigger brand on it, like a noticeable difference.
I think it'll be like a sticker on it, or on the back of the case. You look back and it says 4K on it. I think it'll be.
You don't think it'll be right there in plain sight that it'll say PS4K on the box?
It's like a sticker, but I don't think it's actually going to be like permanent.
I don't think it's just going to say PlayStation 4. I think it'll say PS4, PS4K, maybe with the gold K on the box, and it'll say like something like the power. But
then that's also confusing to the market, because then for casual people who don't really follow tech stuff, they're going to be confused.
Well,
like,
I think almost everyone
I don't have
really
a 4K.
knows what 4K is at this point. Almost everybody, not everyone, but I think at this point it's kind of becoming.
But I don't have a 4K.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like
got it in a different way, maybe.
Yeah, it's crazy how 4K is coming fast, and this fast. Like I've even seen it at stores now, where like almost all the Blu-rays are ultra Blu-ray, ultra 4K, whatever, or ultra Blu-rays, and all the 4K
Blu-ray
TVs are like so cheap now. What's that?
Who would have thought that Blu-rays are like? Who would have thought that Blu-rays are like a thing in the past now? Like they're turning into
the regular Blu-rays,
DVDs.
Right. The regular Blu-rays are becoming.
Now we're going to ultra. Now we're moving to ultra to Blu-ray.
And now DVD is becoming the VHS, pretty much. If you own a DVD or you're going out buying DVDs, you're pretty much going out and buying the VHSs. So you got to make the switch. So let us know what you guys think about the Neo and the PS4 Slim and all that coming up. September 7th for the PlayStation meeting, and then possibly, which we have here as the title, that the PS4 Slim September 14th. Possibly, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Right.
So, Garth, you said it's not going to be a buy for you. You're going to stick with the original PS4?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's switch gears here. We're almost done with the news for today. No Man's Sky update 1.40 is live on PS4, fixes bugs and improves stability. Follow the recently released PC patch that added support for more hardware and improved frame rate. Hello Games has released No Man's Sky update 1.4. PlayStation 4 reportedly a 605 megabyte download, which is actually pretty hefty for a update. Fixes bugs, improves stability, and lots more. A full list of the patch notes aren't available yet, but some users on Reddit have reported the update 1.0 fixes crashing issues. Others, however, still say the game is crashing on them, even though they have the patch. I think Hello Games has been at work for this. I think they're really trying hard. The game has sold well so far. Some people say that articles have said that the game has slowed down, but that's probably because the game has actually sold extremely well so far, which is expected for a game of this caliber. So that's probably why the sales have actually slowed down. But anyways, at least they're updating the game. They did say that all the content for No Man's Sky will be free. So that's something to look forward to if you haven't. I haven't picked it up yet. I plan on picking it up digital most likely.
Did you see Angry Joe's
no, I try to stay away from his reviews.
Oh man.
He gets a little too I like to hear
it was a great review. I really enjoyed it. It was entertaining all the way through.
Entertaining or on point?
He kind of exposed the game, actually. He kind of exposed the developer. The developer lied.
Well, I've listened to almost every interview that Sean Murray did, and he didn't do that much lying, to be honest. So, I mean, and they're a small team of like 10 to 12 people, so that's impressive.
Because he showed all this stuff and said all this stuff that was going to be in the game it's not even in the game.
Like what?
So like spaceship battles. You can go in squads.
Squads.
None of that's there. Yeah. Like you can go in like big squads and stuff, and you can fly around with your friends and stuff.
There was never.
It was actually shown.
Now that was AI.
No.
That was
it was actually shown in Angry Joe's video. They actually show like, hey, you can go in squads, or it wasn't actually squads. It was another word for it, but
right.
You're in a party and stuff, and there's a ton of stuff that was mentioned in that video.
Well, I've never heard.
Wow, I never know.
Playing with other people
because I never paid much attention to the game, so I never knew what was said and what wasn't said. I'm just like, wow. That's pretty cheap, Like you say all the stuff, and it's not even there.
Well, see, the only reason I kind of stick it for the game is this is a 12. You got to realize that this is a 12-man or lady development squad. What they've done with this game is beyond leaps and bounds of most AAA games can possibly do. Like, the talent of this team is so ridiculous and so like out of this world that I'm surprised that they even have created a game this ambitious. And now this game may not be a game right now. That's like Minecraft, for instance. Let's take the Minecraft. Minecraft is a game that got thrown together, and there wasn't much you could really do in the beginning of the game. And over time, it became this game that eventually sold billions, like almost 1 billion copies. It's a game that sold, actually not billion, that's over exaggerating, but a game that is like almost on everybody's device that almost everyone owns. Now, I think eventually No Man's Sky will be of that caliber, and right now it's actually hit a level of caliber which is surprising. Especially,
and you know what? Like, if that's the case,
this time.
If that's the case, and then that's a shame.
Right.
Like, what the state of gaming is today, it should be like that on the first day when you get
it. It should be.
Think about it. I feel like this game should be scrutinized, and it deserves to be scrutinized more because you're paying a $60 price tag. If this was $15 to $20, then people wouldn't care as much because they're not paying that much money for it.
Yeah, I can definitely.
They're not paying that much money for it, so it's not like, oh well, I mean, it doesn't have this and that. These people lied on this certain part. They said this was going to be here, but it's not.
Right. Sony did do a little bit of covering up, and so I can. Yeah.
But I only paid $15 for it, so oh well. But you're paying $60 for it.
$60.
Better damn well say it's going to be there.
Right. But that's not to say that the game doesn't have a lot of content, because it does definitely have a lot to do. But anyways, the patch, if you're looking forward to a patch and you're looking for the game to update, the update is out now, so you guys can do that. A lot of bug fixes and stuff like that. And I the way Sony's exclusives go, I always see patches come right out, like one after another, one after another, one after another. So I honestly think we're going to see a lot of support from this game. And Sean Murray is a really nice-hearted guy. I think we'll see a lot of content from him. It's a shame where this game has kind of went. But then again, a lot of people have done it to themselves with hype and expectations, because this game has shown a lot.
I think that's Sony's and the developers' fault as well.
I think it's Sony's fault, really. I think Sony was shoving
it. You can do that. There's so much you could do, and then people are expecting so much that it's just,
right.
Like, why did you even attempt to hype to say this much about it?
Well, I mean, there was a lot said, but I mean, not to the point where, I mean, I think people hyped it, expected a lot more themselves. I think people kind of did this to themselves, expecting so much from the game. Yeah, there was a lot said, but there also wasn't a lot said, so it made people think a lot even more and hype this game up even more. Like, oh, you're going to be able to do this, you're going to be able to do that, and really, that was never said. So, like who knows? We'll have to wait and see. The game has a lot of time to improve, has limitless possibilities. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to move on to the next little bit of news. We're almost done with the news today. Resident Evil 7 producer stresses combat is definitely in the game, confirms VR improvements from E3 demo. Resident Evil 7 producer Iwata stresses that the final game will definitely have combat, unlike the demo. The VR version has improved already from the E3 demo as well, which is a good, because I've heard that the E3 demo was rough, making people sick and stuff like that. And also, me, myself, being a Resident Evil fan, I was stressing that this was going to have content, or combat content, just like the older games. And goodly enough, and happily enough, it does. So that's good to hear. So if you're a Resident Evil fan, now you do know that the game will have content similar to the old games, and first-person style. So it's going to be a little different than usual. Next little bit of news. Raiders of the Broken Planet, due in 2017 for an unbelievable price, will run at 1080p and 60 frames on PS4 and Xbox One. During Gamescom's 2016, I met, this is actually WCCF Tech. They met with Alvarez, the head of the studio, and David Cox, senior producer, to check up on the next game after the Castlevania Lords of Shadow trilogy. The game is Raiders of the Broken Planet, an online multiplayer adventure first announced for the months ago. During our chat, they confirmed that the Raiders of the Broken Planet won't be out this year, but a PC beta will be following up for this year, and you can go and sign up for that now. We'll start in September. The beta test for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One will follow. So sometime the end of this year, I'm guessing. And this also hinted at a price so low for a triple A production that the gamers won't believe it. Raiders of the Broken Planet will be use of a seasons model, and each season will have 4 or 5 specific missions, characters, and storylines. Their target frame rate and resolution for the console will be 1080p 60 frames and will be locked. That's actually good to hear, considering that this generation, especially on the base PS4 or Xbox One, that most frame rates don't even stay at 60. So we'll have to see. I'm sure Digital Foundry will take a shot at this game. It seems that they might reach that goal, since the game ran very smoothly on a laptop. The developers also commented that the PC version won't be limited in graphics to match the console ones, which is also good to hear too if you go the PC route. With a powerful enough hardware, you'll be able to run it all the way up. They don't go and mention the price, which I was more interested than anything, because I like to see games like we were talking about earlier, No Man's Sky being released at a certain price, or certain games being released on PSN at a good price. If there are games that are released at a good enough price, then they'll catch more people's eye. So we'll wait and see what happens. 1080p 60 frames is a lot to promise. And the game I was a big fan for, I'm talking about a different topic now, is Berserk, which is on Dreamcast. Garth, do you remember this game?
I do not remember.
Guy carries around a massively huge sword, fighting off decent waves of enemies on Dreamcast anyways. It's like an adventure action game.
I don't think I remember it. I would have to see it to know it.
Okay, well this one seems like it's going to be based more off of like they have like an anime as well. But Berserk PS4 Western release will have some things that were held back in the Japanese version. That's good to hear as well. It's no secret by now that the games get censored in different parts of the world and regions for various reasons. In some games, things get added while other stuff are taken out. For Koei Tecmo's Berserk, the Western release will actually see stuff in-game that wasn't in the Japanese version. In an interview of the PlayStation Lifestyles that's set to hit site soon, producer Hisashi Konuma confirmed that Koei Tecmo plans to unlock a few things that were censored in the Japanese version of Berserk. Excuse me. If you're a fan of Berserk or the anime or even the original Dreamcast, this is pretty exciting. I cannot wait to see what they do with the game. I'm glad to see. I like seeing titles like that making comebacks, like games that you've seen once before that you thought were underrated, and you like to see them come back in some way, shape, or form. All right, last little bit of news I have, which I really don't care about Metal Gear Solid much these days, especially in the direction it took. But Konami gave us something that a lot of fans and even myself didn't care about. Konami announced Metal Gear Survive, a new addition to Metal Gear Solid 5 experience. Survive is more of like a horde style type of game. The design of it and everything kind of reminds me of a Resident Evil kind of thing. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know. It sounds like Konami's just going for another cash grab, throwing the Metal Gear name on it. A lot of people were expecting a Chapter 3 type of thing following the last Metal Gear. So I don't know. Let us know in the comments or Facebook, guys. What do you guys think of?
Fans are really pissed about this. They are, yeah.
I don't want to get I'm not the biggest Metal Gear fan.
If the diehard fans want to say screw Konami, then don't buy the game. So
right,
hopefully
exactly.
they don't buy the game.
That is what you need to do, is say screw Konami. Just by buying.
Don't buy it.
And fuck Konami is a real thing, so it's more like fuck Konami.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it to take a crap on it. Don't buy it to break it. Just don't buy it. Because if you buy it to break it, you're still giving them money. So just don't buy it.
Exactly, yeah. You heard it, guys. You heard it first. Just fuck Konami. So, anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Resident Evil. See, I'm thinking of Resident Evil because that's what the game it seriously does. But anyways, that being said, that's the last little bit.
All right. Hey, so if that's about it for that. So over this week, buy a game.
Okay.
If I wanted to go on the PlayStation Store and buy a game, what would I?
Where would you go?
What would be available? What is new? Where would I go?
You came to the right place. You came to the right place. The ultimate destination for everything PlayStation. PlayStation&Pizza. All right, guys. The new releases for August 23rd, 2016 on the PlayStation Store. First digital game you got is Absolute Drift Zen Edition, PS4 digital. Journey from a apprentice master drifter as you hone your skills in a gorgeous minimalist world. Travel from airports and docks to a floating metropolis in search of new cars. Ever greater challenges. Your driving skills will be challenged at every turn until you finally become a master drifter. I think it's like a top-down type of game, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Alone with You is a PS4 PS Vita getting some love. I'm a big fan of PS Vita. Digital title only. You're the last survivor of the doomed space colony, trying to repair your ship and escape a planet before it implodes around you. Spend your days searching for clues and parts you need with the Trouble AI companion and your nights in the colony. Holosim Chamber, experiencing some surprising story-defining relationships. Very cool. I'm gonna say I'm saying this correctly, but it's Armakorg. It's PS4 digital. Armakrog is a unique stop-motion clay animation point-and-click adventure game from the creators of Earthworm Jim. Very cool. Those games are very tough. Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
Neverhood unraveled the mysteries of the fortress that holds. Tommy Knot, I'm guessing is the name, and his blind alien-taking dog, Beak, captive through the exploration and puzzle solving. Next game, we have Big City Stories, PS4 digital. Design, buildings, and
I downloaded that, by the way.
Did you? Okay, cool. It's free to play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was. Big City Stories puts you in charge of your own city, where you can meet your citizens, staff, race around in your vehicles, you commander, and invite friends to admire your creations. So I wonder how that works. You invite your friends, they just check out your city, or can they get involved with the gameplay at all? If you're a fan of like SimCity type of stuff, this is probably up your alley. All right, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, probably one of the biggest releases of the week. PS4 digital and retail. In 2029, mechanical augmented humans have been deemed outcast and segregated from the rest of society. Adam Jensen, an experienced covert agent, must take advantage of state-of-the-art weapons augmentations to unravel a world conspiracy. Next game we have. Oh, Garth, you interested in Deus Ex at all? Or maybe eventually.
Yeah, I mean, eventually that game came out of nowhere. Did it? I mean, like,
I knew it came out in August, but I just couldn't remember.
I forgot all about the game. It was just like I knew it was
Right.
coming out, but I was like, oh wow, it's coming out this week.
Yeah, I know on the Games Cast at the beginning of the year we talked about it, and I don't know if you remember. Was it last year? No, it was the beginning of the year. It got delayed. Remember how all that DLC bullshit they had, and then now we're finally seeing it actually hit its release date. So, next game is Doodle Devil, PS3 digital only. Holy shit, PS3 getting some love here. Embrace your dark side. While Doodle God was creating the universe, Doodle Devil was also having some fun. The same addictive puzzle gameplay that made Doodle God a hit is back, but with an evil twist. There you go, Yules, if you're into puzzle games. Also, another huge release, which is a lot of people thought the Xbox was going to have exclusive for about a year to 2 years to come. A game I highly recommend from everybody is Inside a PS4 Digital. Hunted and alone, a boy finds himself drawn into the center of a dark project. And that's it. That's the only description. There's like 2 sentences there. All right. Wow, PS4 is getting, a huge week, actually, bigger than I thought. Let's see. We got Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Inside is coming out this week. And another big game for fighting fans, such as Dallas, which he's on GC, and he's our fighter guy. The King of Fighters 14, PS4 digital and retail. The world-famous KOF series is back. New chapter on PS4. 50 characters are ready to clash in 3-on-3 team battles with its numerous user-friendly game modes, refined online features, epic story mode. Get ready to discover the new King of Fighters generation. Have to check that out. Madden NFL 17, PS4, PS3 digital and retail. Please stop making the PS3 versions or even the Xbox 360 versions.
Yeah.
Just stop, please. Just bring it over to PC or something. Take your team all the way in Madden 17 in a franchise mode, delivering all new ways to play, more decisions to make, driven by the most balanced gameplay yet, deepest commentary in Madden NFL history, along with fun and fresh ways to play Madden NFL 17, is the most complete Madden ever. I've actually seen videos on this, people trashing the franchise mode, saying that is not very good. They're saying there's a lot of big differences, but there's not. But they're saying the gameplay is one of the best Maddens, if not one of the best football games of all time. And the commentary too. A lot of people are saying that is not as good.
Yeah, like it probably has better voices, but
right,
there are some dead areas in the commentary. Like you'll be running down the sidelines for like a 50-yard touchdown, and they'll be dead silent until you score. It's not like Stokely down the sideline. Wow.
Wow, 5-10. Or 10-5 touchdown. Anyways, we'll probably end up getting it or something and checking it out for ourselves and let you guys know. Metrico Plus is a PS4 digital game. Metrico Plus is an input-driven game in a world of infographics. All the bar charts, line diagrams, and pie chart react to what you are doing. You have to rethink all you know in order to solve all the puzzles and explore every part of the world that is Metrico. Next game we have is, I think, a poker game you mentioned a while back. Prominence Poker is PS4 digital, built around build around unsuspecting and seeding location. Prominence is a gambling utopia ruled by crooked goons that are, maybe this might not be it, determined to keep you from cashing out. Only here you can find the thrill of high-stakes poker while risking everything to take over this underground empire from the mayor, the mysterious town founder. Next game is Valley, PS4 digital. Explore the vast, beautiful world of Valley using the power of Leaf Suit, a fierce exoskeleton that grants exceptional speed and agility, along with a phenomenal ability to manipulate the life and death of living things. Last game we got is Worms WMD. I've never been a big Worms fan, to be honest.
No, I've never been a Worms fan.
Yeah, I don't like those games that people do. So
I don't understand the appeal to them.
Yeah, I don't either. It's not my thing. But then again, a lot of things aren't my thing. So the worms are back in their most destructive game yet with a gorgeous hand-drawn 2D look. Brand new weapons, the introduction of crafting vehicles and building, plus the return of some much-loved classics, weapons and gameplay. Worms WMD is the best Worms experience ever, so they say. All right, guys, if you want to look at PlayStation Music, PlayStation Video, PlayStation View, you guys can go over to PlayStation Blog and check out the rest of that for yourself. All right, Garth, that is the drop of the week.
I thought the sales this week sucked ass. They're horrible, awful
I have not
sales.
checked out the sales myself. I'll have to do that for sure. Let's see if I think they might have a couple other things like releases and stuff on the PlayStation Blog. Check that out real quick, and then we'll jump into the topic of the week, which is my turn to bring the topic of the week. All right, they do have the Humble Capcom PlayStation Bundle available today as Okami, Devil May Cry, like all three of them, which is pretty cool. You got Resident Evil 1 and 0, which is good as well. Street Fighter, a couple Street Fighter games. Strider, which is a good game, and then the Mega Man games as well. So that is actually a pretty damn good bundle. I bet it's expensive, though. I'll have to wait and see. Also, big news, PlayStation Now is coming to PC. DualShock 4 USB wireless adapter is unveiled as well. So that will be coming shortly. I'll give you guys more of an update on that. Like I said before, you guys want to go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/group/GamerCade, or you can go over to our Twitter, GamerCade1986. You can do that. We always post news and stuff, so you get to stay updated with that. So that's exciting. That's actually big news for PlayStation because that counters Microsoft's Windows 10 whole thing. Because eventually we might see more than just PlayStation 3 games on PlayStation Now, which I think eventually we will see, but in time. Also, bringing, let's see, Alienation also has an update, which we need to get to. Alienation updated today with the weekly missions, new weapons packs, and more. Let's see what else we got. I think that's about it, really, the big news for this week. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't check out the sales, Garth, but I'll have to see what they have. I missed Bastion last week. I wanted to buy Bastion. I wanted to play that on my Vita.
Yeah, it was $2.
Yeah. It was like $2 something.
$3.
I think. Yeah, 3 something. I think on the Vita it was like 2 something. So, all right, guys, it's time for topic of the week, our last segment of the show. If you guys want to check out the rest of the show, as soon as this is done, you guys can go check out the video version over on YouTube. The rest of it, if you want the audio version, will be up as well. Just check that on iTunes and all that, and subscribe. And Podomatic and podcast services around the world. All right, Garth, my turn for topic of the week. Can you possibly guess what it is?
You mean greatest hits?
Oh, I'm sorry. Greatest hits game of the week. I got it.
You said topic of the week like 3 times. I was like, I think greatest
hits game of the week. This is where we announce a classic game or maybe a forgotten game of our choice. Sometimes we let the fans do it or a special guest, which we've had on here before. My greatest hits game of the week, which I just recently beat and is in my greatest hits library now, is Resogun. I've actually had it since the PS4 came out, but I didn't recently beat it until now, and I decided to beat it on the superior platform. Yes, I said it, on the PlayStation Vita. Garth, you beat Resogun yourself.
Yes.
Yes, and what did you think?
It's in my top 10 PS4 games of all time so far.
Top 10 PS4 games? I think Colin Moriarty would agree with you, but I think he would still say that is possibly one of the best PS4 titles.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also,
it's just so good. I mean, it's
arcade
so fun
style
too.
shmup shooter. Yeah, it's definitely a good game. If you like,
and it's always fun no matter. And it's always fun no matter how many times I beat it. I beat the game like 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
But I always go back and try to improve my time and try to improve my score. And speed.
Yeah. And you can also do co-op.
Try to go faster.
They even have co-op and stuff on the Vita, which is really cool. And they had ad hoc co-op as well, so which is like hooking you and a buddy have a Vita. You guys can play that together, which is really cool. That's always a plus to the game. So if you guys haven't checked out Resogun, I highly recommend doing so. The particle effects in the game are fucking mind-blowing. Some of the best I've ever seen, especially when you use like a bomb.
Yeah.
Parts of the world are falling apart. What would you give, Garth? This is PlayStation&Pizza. So what would you give Resogun? What kind of pizza would you rate Resogun?
If I can have my if I bought a pizza, I would eat 9 of these slices out of the 10.
Okay, nice. You know what? I would actually give this I really like Red Baron pizzas. I really like Red Baron.
Would you eat the entire pizza 10 out of 10?
Oh, easily. A Red Baron pizza at that.
Oh, yeah.
So Red Baron, it's a frozen pizza, but it's still good. So it doesn't necessarily downgrade the game. Red Baron pizza, and I would eat all 10 slices. So 10 out of 10 for me.
My only gripe about it is that it's kind of short. You know, it only has like
Very
5.
short. Well, what difficulty did you play it on?
I wish it had a couple. I played it on the easiest one because
Okay.
I wanted to beat it, but
Right.
it's still quite challenging.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wanted a little bit more, not just the 5
I can understand that.
levels that's there.
Right, and you know they have the
Like
ship
I wanted
creator.
maybe 7, maybe 8 levels instead of 5.
Okay. See, on the Vita, they don't have the ship creator. I want to check that out on the PS4. So that adds depth.
There's so much stuff on the ship
sure.
creator for PS4.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. It's awesome.
See, now
I even have the Simpsons. I have the Simpsons ship. They're all sitting on the couch.
Nice.
Sitting on the couch. It's awesome.
So it's just sitting there shooting and all that. All right, on Resogun, I have to say, if you play it on, I think it's experienced, I think is the second difficulty. I'll have to check that out. It is tough. Holy shit. Especially the last level, man. Motherfucker, is it a pain in the ass. You definitely have to do levels at least like 5 times, even more, depending on if you're playing on the middle to highest difficulty. And I don't know, I put some hours into that game, man. I want to at least say like 6 with that difficulty. It was a pain in the ass. Yeah. And I definitely recommend playing it on Vita. I think it's the better experience with the way the sticks are set up and everything else. It feels great. It feels perfect in my hands. But that doesn't take away from the PS4 version. If that's the only version you can get to, I definitely recommend playing it. Like me and Garth are talking about the ship creator, which is really cool. But anyways, Garth, that is my greatest hits game of the week. Not the topic of the week to get confused, but it is the greatest hits game of the week. Let us know what your guys' greatest hits game is. You can go to facebook.com/group/GamerCade. Email us at PlayStation&Pizza@gmail.com. Or you guys can do at GamerCade1986 at gmail.com. This is GCN. This is PlayStation-centric podcast of GCN, PlayStation and Pizza. You guys can go over to our website right now. It's GamerCade.squarespace.com. We don't have an exact address yet. But go over there, find all of our podcasts, the newest podcasts, our newest videos, everything, all of our Twitter stuff, our Twitter feed, and do all that. But make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube if you are watching. We much appreciate it. Keeps us motivating to making more podcasts every week. We have the Games Cast on here every beginning of the week, and PlayStation and Pizza every beginning of the week. So you guys can check that out. Please subscribe. Keep us motivated to do more. Really, Garth, where can we find you on PSN and social media?
I mainly want you guys to follow me on Twitter because I want to tweet to people on there. I like it.
You like talking on Twitter. You like keeping updated on Twitter.
If you have any questions or whatever,
let them know where they can follow you.
Sports or about sports or anything, you can follow me on SpongeBob on Twitter.
SpongeBob,
just like,
all one word.
I mean, for everything else, just like for everything else, for Twitter, for PSN, for YouTube, which actually the original name ever that I created. The first ever SpongeBob account created was on YouTube, so that's OG SpongeBob. Even though it's all OG for everything. Right, for sure. Finally, I mean, I would love to, and my Instagram as well, because I love Instagram. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all right, cool. Sounds good. If you guys want to follow me on PSN, it's XKillXZoneX. I'm a big Killzone fan. We also have a GamerCade group over there on PSN. It's a community. Go search GamerCade, become a member. I'd love to. We talk every now and then. I'm about to update it with pictures and stuff like that and what we're playing at the moment. So if you guys want to do that, yeah, I'd be more than happy to be your friend and play games with you guys. Friends list is getting pretty full, though. So do it while you can. Anyways, guys, this has been PlayStation and Pizza, GCN's PlayStation-centric podcast. Remember, GamerCade.squarespace.com. Go check out all of our podcasts, everything. We're on iTunes and podcast services around the world. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And until next time, game on.